here at NRA headquarters, not in the museum. I'm here with Phil Schreier. He is the senior curator of the NRA Museum. But Phil, my goodness, you've outdone yourself again. I thought when we went downstairs to the vault, it was the coolest I was ever going to see other than being in the museum. But now you've brought us today to an undisclosed location, into a room that looks kind of part Hollywood prop room, part museum, part, there's crates and treasures all over the place. Tell us, what are we going to look at here?
Well, John, we're actually in a secret hideaway at the National Firearms Museum. This room gives us an opportunity to lay out massive collections that we just normally don't have room for anywhere else in the museum property. So the Peterson collection literally lived up here for 2.5 years, unknown by virtually any other employee in the entire building for the tenure that it was being evaluated in this room. Right now, we have a wonderful collection of items that just came in. Again, top level security, because these items are on loan to us from the United States government. You know how Uncle Sam gets when you scratch a painting of his.
Absolutely. Have you been near the White House lately?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what we have, John, is a remarkable opportunity that the National Park Service has afforded us in the loan of a number of items from Sagamore Hill National Historic Site, the family home of Theodore Roosevelt and his family. Roosevelt lived in the house from the time he built it in 1885 until he died in January of 1919. His widow lived in the house until 1948, and it was gifted over to the Park Service from the Theodore Roosevelt Association in 1963.
Wow. Well, Phil, thank you once again for giving viewers and listeners here to the Curator's Corner an unbelievable inside track here on these items. We're so appreciative of you having us here. So tell us a little bit about, so we'll do an overview. We'll call this the Teddy Roosevelt series. We'll dub it that right now. But tell us an overview. We'll run these for the next, we've got at least 10 segments we're going to do today. So let's give us an idea in this sort of overview. Say, what are people going to see, what kind of stuff, and what kind of significance of it all?
Well, we're going to call this exhibit Theodore Roosevelt Trappings of an Icon, the Oval Office of the Summer White House. Now, Sagamore Hill, as it's known today, was originally named Lee Holm by Theodore Roosevelt when he went about building it, and named it after his first wife, Alice Lee. Unfortunately, she died shortly after giving birth to their only child, Alice Roosevelt, and Theodore, quite depressed, moved out to the Badlands of North Dakota for a number of years. And then when he finally came back, he had the house finished, married a childhood friend of his, Edith Carroll, and they lived together in the new house that he built and raised five additional children, Theodore Jr., Kermit, Archie, Quentin, and Ethel. So the house full of 6 kids, and a menagerie of animals, some of whom will actually meet during this number of sessions. They made Sagamore Hill quite a home, and he named the house Sagamore Hill, changed the name after one of the Indian chiefs from this area of New York's Long Island, North Shore, Oyster Bay, is where you'll find Sagamore Hill. The reason why right now over our shoulder you will find the Oval Office of the Summer White House is because after over 100 and, well, I'm not good at math, but I think it comes out to about 125 years, Sagamore Hill was still going under the original plumbing, heating, electric.
Wow.
The Park Service noticed degradation to the degrading of the artifacts due to the fluctuations in temperature and humidity, things that they needed to get a better grip on climactic-wise. So the house is being completely renovated.
Wow.
It's a $6 million effort. The house was closed in early December 2011, and we were the fortunate recipients of a phone call from the Park Service saying, "What would y'all like to put in your museum for a while?" And
what Phil, after you fell over and you got up, then what did you say?
I was like, everything. Well, what don't we want? In 1993, when we originally began designing the National Firearms Museum, before we even left Rhode Island Avenue, we had gone up to Sagamore Hill, photographed the whole house, and decided that the library was possibly the best environment for us to do kind of an homage to one of our life members of the National Rifle Association, Theodore Roosevelt. So we copied his library where he had barristers' bookcases. We put in gun cases, and we tried to replicate it as best we could, never thinking that some dozen years later we would be actually recreating that library with the original artifacts. So what a fantastic opportunity.
Well, I'll tell you, and I'm excited, Phil. So we're going to wrap this one here. Tell folks about how they can come see these treasures here at the National Firearms Museum, and then we'll come back next week with our first treasure.
Beginning in mid-May, you'll be able to see the trappings of an icon, Theodore Roosevelt, in the Oval Office of the Summer White House at the National Firearms Museum from 9:30 till 5, 7 days a week. We're located in Fairfax, Virginia, off the Interstate 66 at the intersection of Route 50. If you can't get to us off the interstate, visit us on the internet at nramuseum.com.
All right, Phil, here we go. It's going to be a great ride, so strap in. I'm going to go and take a look at all these treasures. Next week, we'll be back with our first look at a particular item here from the Teddy Roosevelt series next week on the Curator's Corner. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, John.